great example of cross-referencing. Surely enough, you've had conversations, if you're in fact active on behalf of Israel, then you must have come across this accusation that Israel has created a humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip specifically because of the blockade that doesn't allow food or supplies or medicine into Gaza. Right? Now, how do you justify that? You don't. You use cross-referencing. Here's the example. See, the people in Gaza, specifically Hamas, have been shooting rockets onto Israeli cities day in and day out. Now, we know that they don't manufacture those rockets in Gaza. That means they have to find a way of getting those rockets in. They have to have the means to purchase the rockets, and they have to have the means to smuggle them in. Now, many people don't know this, but these rockets are pretty big, heavy equipment. So they're smuggled in big trucks, underground tunnels that lead all the way into Gaza. Now, this is curious. If you have the means to buy rockets, can't you use those means to buy food and medication? And if you have the means to smuggle those things in huge trucks underground, undetected by Israeli forces, why would you end up having a humanitarian crisis? So, let's talk about the blockade. Is there really a humanitarian crisis? The fact is, by the way, that there isn't, and we'll be happy to supply you with videos and other materials that demonstrate that, in fact, certain areas that the Palestinians have are flourishing financially. But the idea here is we have to cross-reference one scenario with the other. Rather than talk about the need for the blockade and why Israel is justified and why we're doing it because A, B, and C, use cross-referencing to talk about the blockade in context of the fact that the Palestinians in Gaza are shooting rockets on Israel. Not to justify the blockade, but rather to force a deeper level of analysis to get them to think it doesn't make sense. How can there be a humanitarian crisis when they, day in and day out, are getting all of this equipment in without Israeli forces stopping them?